So Buddy Hield of the Indiana Pacers has definitely been a surprise for this team. And originally I had him being on the trade block as being their highest priority for the Pacers, as I thought he was a really tradable asset. And although he still is, I still think he can carve out a role for himself. He already did carve out a role for himself on this team. I think moving forward, he could be a pretty valuable role player for this team, especially with guys like Tyrese Halliburton developing into a great player and probably the franchise cornerstone for the Pacers. I don't know. Buddy Hield, he's a guy on any team that really needs a good three-point shooter while also being a guy that can be on ball and can drive into the hoop, someone that can play and make a little bit, someone that can play defense. So today we're going to be talking about Buddy Hield and his pending future with the Indiana Pacers. So we'll get into it right now. If you like what you see, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. And let's just get right into it. So Buddy Hield overall, he's averaging around 17.5 points per game, around 4.5 rebounds, and around 2.5 assists on around 44% from the field and around 39% from three, while also shooting around 86% from the free throw line. So also throwing in 1 steal per game, while also having 2 turnovers and 2 fouls per game. So Buddy Hield, his fit alongside Tyrese is probably a match made in heaven. I mean, if we look at the Pacers overall and their starting lineup, honestly, the starting lineup has definitely changed in like the last few weeks due to injuries. I mean, I think Neesmith was out for some games, and Buddy Hield, I want to see he was out for some games too. Maybe even Tyrese Halliburton for some games, but I know Nembhard was starting in place of Tyrese Halliburton when he was injured. So, you can't really determine too much about, Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton. But overall, I mean, we're in December. We've already played a pretty hefty amount of games. I mean, the Pacers are 15-16 overall in the season. So Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton, I definitely like the fit. I think both of them are pretty great for each other. Tyrese Halliburton creating a lot of space and a lot of gravity, and Buddy Hield being able to knock down the three ball while also being a good on-ball guy, while also, creating his own shot and someone that can rebound the ball and someone that you can just go to in the clutch. I mean, honestly, Tyrese Halliburton, the thing about the Pacers is that he's really the only player they have that can score at will, essentially. I mean, Buddy Hield, you can have him, sitting in the corner, sitting on the wing, but he's not a guy that can get his own bucket, essentially, whenever he wants. I mean, he can handle the ball at times. Not all the time, I will say that, not all the time, but he's a guy that can, spot up and someone that can be on ball sometimes. That's the thing about the Pacers, and I will make another video on that, is that they need another star beside Tyrese Halliburton because, looking at this team right now, I think if they had a guy like a Jalen Brunson or a DeAndre Ayton, I think they would be set up a little bit better in the future. But regardless, they have what they have right now. They're dealt with the cards they have right now, so we'll see how this team plays out in the, I want to say in the future. But they still have a lot of guys like Chris Duarte, who has been fairly injured, so we'll see what his future is depending on how the Pacers play. I mean, even with Buddy Hield, if they decide to trade him and Miles Turner for, anything, essentially, I won't say anything. I mean, Duarte probably slots into the 2 and then probably Ben Mathurin at the 3, which, makes sense, essentially. But I don't know, Buddy Hield, I think the fit on the team is definitely great, and they should definitely value him pretty high if they are trying to look to trade him. Obviously, the Lakers with Russell Westbrook and the first-round picks, that could be something interesting, but, Westbrook has been playing pretty great off the bench, and, getting Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, it would improve the roster, but in terms of winning, I definitely don't see it. So, yeah, I mean, Buddy Hield, if they don't trade Buddy Hield, I mean, he's probably here to stay for the rest of his contract. I mean, if we look at Buddy Hield and what he's making, I mean, he's making $22 million per year. So, yeah, we'll look at the amount of years he has on his contract. That's a lot of money, but for a guy of his caliber, I mean, I think, I don't know, 22 million, maybe like around 18 to 15 million for Buddy Hield might be better for him, but I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think about his contract situation. It's definitely interesting. So if you look at his years on his contract, it should be right here. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll see. So we are in the 2022 NBA season. So he has 2 more years on his contract, 21 million in the next season and then 19 million in the season after that. So 21 million this year and then 19 million in the next year. So he's making a lot of money for a guy that's 30 years old. So he's going to be 32 when his contract is up. Hopefully, we can get at least some sort of return for him when he's expiring, which definitely could be interesting. Same thing with Miles Turner. I mean, I think he should be a free agent this year too, if I'm not mistaken. So, or by next year. So, I think packaging both of them on their expiring deals could be a pretty good return for the Indiana Pacers. I think we're mostly looking for a lot of front court help. You know, with Miles Turner not being pretty, I wouldn't say pretty physical. Yeah, he's definitely not that physical. If we're looking for a guy in the post, kind of like a Mitchell Robinson or kind of like a Kristaps Porzingis, I think that would help the team a lot more. You know, with Jalen Smith, I mean, the Smith project, we'll see how that turns out. It's definitely not working out so far, but I think he has a lot of potential, a lot of upside. We can see how it turns out, but I mean, as of right now, I don't really think it's working too much. So, yeah, Buddy Hield, in terms of his future, I say that he probably runs out his contract till he's a free agent, and then he probably goes to another team. At the same time, I mean, he's built some chemistry with Tyrese being on the Kings together back in, 2021. So, yeah, we'll see if Buddy Hield wants to stay. I mean, it could be like a situation where Jalen Smith, I mean, he could have been offered more money in the last offseason, but he decided to stay with the Pacers. It could be the same situation here with the Pacers. I don't know. I definitely would like Buddy Hield in terms of, his fit on the team. His 3-point shooting is definitely going to be the most important thing that we need on this team, but also being able to, space out the floor, being able to run some plays by himself whenever Tyrese isn't on the floor. So you guys can let me know what you guys think about the Buddy Hield situation. I was definitely wrong about this guy. I think we definitely need to keep him, and moving forward, he could be a pretty valuable role player moving forward. So that's the video. My name is Spaces Empire, and now peace.